Hi guys, so I'm doing a lunch reading again, and I pulled a card from the Esoteric Buddhism of Japan Oracle cards, just because I love those cards. And there's a lot of blue in this reading, if you've noticed. But number 25 with Gozanze Mio-o, I think that's how you say it, I don't know. And there's a mantra that they always give you, and this is Om Sampha Nisumba Hum Vaja Hum Fat. I don't know what that means. But this is the Wisdom King who defeats the three poisons. And the three poisons that they're talking about are mindsets. So the three poisons are attachment, aversion, like selfish anger, and ignorance, being unable to see things as they truly are because one does not know the truth. And then each of these cards, like, they have symbolism in a when you look down to the would that be left hand corner? Yeah, the left hand corner. Well, I guess that'd be right hand corner at the bottom. The Hindu goddess Parvati is down there, and then it points to the Hindu god of Shiva also on the right or left. Yeah, first one's the right and the other one's the left side. Okay, anyways, and then it says, like, they give you like little insights. There's a whole big thing, and I'm not going to get too deep into it just because I, don't want to make it about something I don't really understand all of it yet. I'm still trying to get into this deck. It's a good deck though. But it's talking about relinquishing your selfish thoughts. Relinquish your need for things. Think about what you want and who you want to do things for. It also says, find a balance with those whose way of thinking is different from yours, which that's so important right now. I'm just going to read the wisdom from Buddha. It says, you might be exceedingly capable and able to handle various jobs at once, but might you not also be a little selfish from time to time? Do people really want those things that you think you're doing for the sake of others? Take a step back and look at the whole picture objectively. Try to put yourself in their shoes. You cannot change people just because they think different than you. Recognize the good points in others and find a way to walk with them, not control them. And the blessings of this card is a warding against disasters, inner virtue, which clears the path to enlightenment, and victory in battle. So I think what this is talking about, yeah, it's kind of like, I feel like, especially this day and age, like the impulse when you're doing something, especially with something you're passionate about, is to kind of push that without kind of looking at the aspect of other people in the situation. It's also very common, like in political things or religious beliefs or things like that, where there's more than one side. It's very easy to get caught up in, well, my way is the right way, or doing something for somebody be in your belief system, but it might not be what another person wants. In nursing, there's a huge aspect of cultural understanding, or at least that's what I was taught. So like, say you have a patient and they have a different way of their grief or dying process. You're going to want to know what that is so you can make them the most comfortable. You don't want to push your beliefs on somebody because that might make them uncomfortable, and that's their experience. So I think this is kind of saying that in that way too. And I think a lot of times in like spiritual matters too, I think a lot of times what we do is we feel like we know better than the other person. And I highly believe that we all come to God, spirit, universe, whatever that is, higher self, in our own way. And that's what makes it magical. So whether you believe somebody's believing something wrong, sometimes the best way to like counteract that, if that's what you're trying to do, is really just to do your own thing and support people where you can. Stand up for the little guy, yeah, but at the same time, kind of step back a little bit and figure out why you're doing what you're doing. So today I did, again, mind, body, spirit, because I kind of like that. So I did two, the first column has two cards. One is like kind of like the main theme of mind, and that would be the Wheel of Fortune. And then the other card, which is my mini Rider-Waite, that is kind of like the clarifying card. And then I have an Oracle card underneath with just choices. So we have the Wheel of Fortune, the 10 of Wands, and we have choices. So I feel like this is highlighting that definitely, so somebody here or collectively is definitely thinking about choices in their spiritual path, or things that have kind of accumulated either for the good or the bad, positive or negative aspects of how our choices relate to our future and our spiritual path. And I'm thinking spiritual path because of the way that this person is carrying, those 10 wands, right? At the end of this journey, there is a reaping. There is a harvest that they're having. And it wasn't easy. But at the same time, sometimes I think we counteract the choices that we make by, it was really hard for me, so I did it this way. So kind of understanding that, the choices that you make not only have an effect on you, but it has effect on the surroundings of your environment, be that physical, emotionally, energetically, or on your relationships. So I feel like somebody definitely has that concept on their mind right now. And the Wheel of Fortune also can kind of be, especially with that 10 of wands, 10s being kind of like an ending of a cycle, it can kind of be like, okay, you're at this point where you're going to make this significant choice. And a lot of these decisions that you've made along the way and the work that you've done really kind of can turn which way you want this wheel to go. So it's kind of like a bonus card, like, okay, we got to this point. So this point, where are you going from here? So that was the mind. And then the middle column I have is body. And we have the 5 of Pentacles. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe this will clarify. Nope, it's 5 of Pentacles again. And under that is empathy. I think that being the context of the other cards that we've had so far, I feel like this is really somebody's really having an inward understanding of how things affect the whole, the situation, your situation, and maybe when we're in these mindsets where there is a kind of lack, but I'm not really getting lack so much as this, as it's kind of the aspect of we're seeing this as how other people might not have the ability to see things in our own way. That doesn't give them less knowledge. That doesn't make them less people. But if you're seeing something from a different point of view, that doesn't give you the advantage to push these people further. It's kind of in an advantage to kind of, spread your understanding and your awareness and your knowledge in kind of like an empathetic way. How can you assist the situation in a way that uplifts rather than makes this person resistant? Because a lot of times, people need help. If you kind of make them feel less than you, and they're looking at you like, oh, well, I don't know. You know what I mean? Then it's kind of like you're putting them down. So they're going to be less receptive to what you have to give, right? And being that there's 2 5 of Pentacles, this makes me think of that it is also a 10 of Pentacles, that's your legacy. That is what you're passing on to this generation. Future generations, whether it be your family, this is what you're going to be remembered for. So maybe this has a lot to do with that too, is being empathetic, and being that there's 2 5 of Pentacles, maybe there is a need for empathy on 2 sides of something. And then my last column, we have the 2 of Swords, and we have the Hermit. And under that, we have Adrift. So the 2 of Swords with the Hermit. I don't feel like this is telling you that you need to hide away. I feel like this is a decision that takes some inner understanding. And I also feel like, especially with the 2 of Swords, a lot of times that card to me, thanks to Minopon Tarot, he kind of introduced me to that concept where there's a third way. There's not one this way. There's not that way. It's in the middle way. And I feel like whoever you are, this is a person who kind of has that understanding. And Adrift in this deck is kind of about realizing that sometimes we kind of get swept away with things, but also it's about allowing yourself to kind of release the kind of constraints that you have around you and allow yourself to kind of use that inner navigation and knowledge to kind of direct you in the right way. So I feel like being with the 2 of Swords and the Hermit above this, I feel like this is definitely saying that through your inner knowledge and your ability to see that third way, you're kind of asked to kind of release the need to know which way is right and just kind of intuitively follow that middle path. And then I have a Mystical Shaman Oracle with number 53 and the Sun. And this card in this deck talks about allowing yourself to shine and allowing yourself to be seen. So given with all the context of these cards, I feel like somebody is kind of being asked to be that mediator, and not in like an oppressive and I know how this is, but through example. And perhaps you're somebody that's kind of straddling the line on things where, you know, you don't want to condemn one side or another, or maybe you are kind of more to one side, but you want to kind of invite the other side in a loving way. This can be in so many different aspects. Maybe these are choices in your life that you're trying to work on. Or it can also be two sides of yourself, right? This is kind of like a merging and an understanding in a deep empathetic way. So I hope this resonates with somebody. And then, yeah, so the Sun is saying definitely that this is something that you need to bring to light. This is something that is inside you that perhaps needs to come out and shine. And then we have our Crystal Angel Oracle, and we have Opal, which says, let yourself sparkle and shine. You are guided to be bold and show your bigger than life side to the world. So yeah, I feel like there's some inner knowledge somebody has here that's kind of uniting in a way. And it sounds grandiose and whatever, but I feel like when we do a lot of work, it only gets that much better when you express it and put it out there. So I hope this means something to somebody today, and I will talk to you later.